Hi, I'm Sandra Walker and happy lunar eclipse. I'm recording this on the day of the lunar eclipse, and I want to give you an insight into the energies that are at play right now. So, this lunar eclipse, we have the sun in Pisces and the moon in Virgo. So, it's classified as a Virgo eclipse. Virgo is very much about the body, embodying this axis between Pisces and Virgo is embodying your higher self, embodying your intuitive self, embodying all of the higher energies that are flooding through right now. So what you may be noticing at this moment in time, and since Neptune moved into 29 degrees of Pisces, you may be noticing the return of a lot of old physical symptoms that you thought that you had left behind. Pay attention to them. They're not there to disrupt, they're there to inform. So as these energies are flowing through and we're opening ourselves up to receiving them, where we're still blocked, where our limitations still exist, is where the discomfort will show up. Now, that may be this may be purely a cleansing action. It doesn't mean that these particular physical issues are back for good, but they're pointing you in a direction, and you can pay attention. If you work with everything else that's going on, it'll become clear to you where the blockage is and what it's trying to tell you. So let's start off with we have the Sun and Saturn conjunct at 22 and 23 degrees of Pisces. The Sun represents the I, it's all that you are, and it's in Pisces, so it's this boundless sense of self, this higher self that we're working with regards to this lunar eclipse. And it's conjunct to Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn brings limitations, but it also brings maturity. And Saturn slows the process down. It can feel very restrictive, but it can also be a master guiding us towards our true destiny. And it will make us wait until the right time. Saturn rules time. And so this Saturn conjunct is emphasizing, Saturn conjunct the Sun is emphasizing both the energies of I am and mastery. And we're working towards mastery of self, unlimited, boundless self. And so it's also showing you where you have imposed self-limitation. We're also working with Pisces, which is our dream. And we're working with the moon in Virgo, which may be over-analyzing how exactly we work towards that dream. And that can play into that Saturn Sun self-limitation also. So a lot of, at the same time that a lot of physical symptoms may be showing up for you, you may also be aware of a lot of mental and emotional, also like almost like the interplay between all three of these aspects of your being. You will be seeing, we'll move into it as we go, but Mercury is in Aries, and so that can be bringing up a lot of conflicting thoughts, negative thoughts, aggressive thoughts, and beliefs. And so first of all, we're just dealing with this Saturn and Sun in opposition to the moon. So it's understanding your limitless potential, your limitless self, your unbounded self, your highest potential, and where you are limiting that yourself and where you are preventing that from being. And so as you see those layers present themselves to you, you can work with those and understand that they're an energy. That's all that they are. And so you can transmute them because they're just energy. Also with this Saturn and Sun conjunction, still in Pisces, but at slightly later degrees. We've got it at 27 and 29. We've got the North Node at 27 degrees and Neptune at 29 degrees. So they're also conjunct to each other. There'd be its wide conjunction to the Sun and Saturn. So they're definitely playing a part in this. And the North Node is our forward trajectory. It's where we're heading towards, both self and obviously this is a chart for the collective. So it's where the collective is heading. And we're still in Pisces. We're still in that spiritual, imaginative realm of dreams. And Neptune is at 29 degrees, which is a really potent degree. It is the end of Pisces. It is the end of the chart before we move into Aries, which is the very first sign on the chart. So it's bringing about endings. It's bringing about endings of a nature of illusion. And so where have we been deluding ourselves with regards to who we are and what we truly are, and by doing so imposing limitations upon ourselves, and how can we release those limitations, those illusions of self, in order to move forward to where we truly belong, to move forward into this dream realm that we know exists. It's energy also. If we can think it, then we can make it happen. But we're actually moving beyond even what we can comprehend. The scope for what Neptune will be creating once he moves into Aries, what we will be creating through our Neptune in Aries energy is so far beyond the realms of what we can actually even comprehend. Neptune has not been at this point in our lifetime. It's been 165 years since he's been at this point, and therefore, what is to come is beyond what we have experienced in our lifetime. And it is conjunct the North Node. It is the future that we're heading towards. It is it is our highest trajectory. And so all of these energies are working together in order to get us over that starting line or finishing line, however you wish to see it. So there is absolutely an element of surrender, absolutely an element of letting go. So what are we letting go? And what are you letting go of that limits your highest potential, that limits your limitless potential? In line with those planets, we have Mercury and Venus in Aries. Venus is actually in retrograde in Aries. And so she's also informing this cluster by she had moved into Aries. There were actions taken based upon your values, and now she's moving retrograde still in Aries, asking you to question those values. Are they actually your values? Are they values that you have been conditioned to have? Or are they the values that really sit deep in your soul and that you know to be true? And so this is, you may be experiencing some disruption, some slowing down of the things that were initiated when Venus moved into Aries. And it's giving you the time to really reassess. Is this me, or is this the expectation of me? And this comes back to those self-limiting beliefs. We buy into the stories that we have been told of who we should be, and we create our limitations based upon that. But they are just energy. And so now is the time to really reevaluate, from this higher perspective, with all of this other energy in Pisces, this higher perspective, is this really what I value? And that will mean different things to different people, and it will depend on where all of this energy is falling in your chart. So take a look at your Pisces and your Aries in your chart, and what houses are being affected by this particular lunar eclipse. We also have Mercury in Aries. Mercury is the ruler of this eclipse, as Mercury is the ruler of Virgo. And so his energy is very, very relevant to this eclipse, and he is in Aries. And so what you may be noticing with regards to Mercury is that Mercury is about your thought processes. He's the messenger to the gods, and so he brings information through to us from those higher powers. But he is currently in Aries, which it does represent passion and anger and war and conflict and doing, and so he's going to be bringing up a lot of awareness around the things that you're doing, the actions that you're taking with regard to the current thought systems and beliefs that you have. And it is probably bringing up a lot of negative thoughts for you. It's showing you where you are self-limiting through negative thought patterns. It's showing you whether that is judgment of others or judgment of self. Invariably, judgment of others is actually just a way of avoiding judgment of self. So it's actually those things that you are looking to resolve within yourself as well. And so you may be experiencing like very negative thought patterns right now. Know that if that is the case, that's presenting in order for you to work with those thoughts, in order for you to step outside and recognize that they are the thoughts that you are operating by. They are the thoughts that make you take action, and what sort of action that makes you take is how you, again, limit your being, limit who you are, limit the energy that you put into the world. You're not being your whole entire self. You're being this other version of you that tells you what you can and can't be. And so really working with those energies, recognizing the thought patterns, recognizing the what actions they lead you to take, and coming back to knowing that you can change your thoughts, that once Mercury goes into retrograde tomorrow, then you will begin to go on that inner journey of, why is it that I think those things? Why do I take the actions that I take? What beliefs are really restricting me in this life? What is it that's really making me angry? Where am I still at war within my own mind? And how can I work with that? And of course, once Mercury moves into Pisces, which it will do during this retrograde, you get to allow all of that to dissolve. So you're bringing awareness to those thoughts, to those beliefs, to those communication processes that you are currently operating under, again, from that limited, conditioned self. And you are bringing them to the surface so that as you move into Pisces, you're able to dissolve those and make room for a higher perspective. Now, what's interesting is that all of this cluster of planets excuse me. I think, well, before I move on to that, that what's also interesting is that although Chiron is not in conjunction with that cluster of planets, it is at 21 degrees of Aries. And so there is an influence from Chiron on all of that cluster that's happening in Pisces and Aries. And so when you're working with those thoughts, with those values, with those limitations, understand that they're coming from the perception of pain that is gained from your inner wounds. So they are most likely leading you to your deepest core inner wound, which will be things like betrayal or abandonment, or whatever it is for you personally. You'll notice the thread that's running through them. And so again, it's bringing this to light so that you can do the work, so that you can move your thoughts and your mind into Pisces. You can move your sense of value and self-worth into Pisces, and having done the work in Aries to bring them to the surface and allow them to dissolve. This cluster in Pisces and Aries is making a minor triangle with Uranus in Taurus and Pluto in Aquarius. And so if we work with the Uranus and Taurus energy, what it's offering you is, and what it has been offering you the whole time that Uranus has been in Taurus, is freedom from all these self-inflicted and society-inflicted restrictions and confinements. But it's a slow process, because it's been a slow process of conditioning you to believe that you are less than you are. And so it's a slow process to unwind those beliefs. And so what Uranus has been offering you is freedom, but he's in Taurus, so he's taking his time about it. He's doing it little by little by little. And so you're not overwhelmed by it. And that is also why there's this whole Pisces Aries interplay this year with regards to planets moving in and out of Pisces throughout the year. So it's allowing you to see actions that have been taken from conditioned self, and it's allowing you to bring those back in, to understand the basis, the foundations of those actions, and to bring them back into Pisces to dissolve and receive a higher understanding and higher awareness to bring back into Aries, so that once you have embodied that higher understanding, again, we have the nodal axis in Pisces and Virgo throughout the next 18 months. So it's all about embodying this higher understanding and then moving into Aries and taking action from that place and breathing that higher understanding into the world through your actions, not through your words necessarily. For some, that will be relevant, but through the everyday things that you do in your life that represent you coming from a higher place as opposed to a conditioned place. And that then is in a positive aspect to Pluto and Aquarius. So it's bringing us back to, Taurus's embodiment also. And so it's the embodiment of this higher self that affects the transformation of the collective, which is our Pluto in Aquarius. But it's an inside job. It's an inside revolution. It's a slow and embodied revolution of I am limitless. And I understand that I'm limitless, and I understand that I have work to do, Aries, in order to release all of the limitations, Saturn, that prevent me from being the most limited version of self, Neptune, Pisces, Sun, North Node. And then we have also making a beautiful aspect to our cluster, to Uranus. Also, we have Mars in Cancer still. He's at 18 degrees, so he started to move forward as of Monday. Today is Friday as I'm recording this. And so he's finally moving forward in Cancer, but it's still forward movement action. Action that is nurturing, action that is renewing and nurturing to self. And that's making a beautiful aspect to the Sun and Saturn in Pisces. It's also in a positive aspect to the Moon in Virgo. So it's like what little steps, daily steps, routine steps can I take to nurture my being, to nurture my whole self? Because we're in the Sun is in Pisces, my whole self. So how can I nurture my body, mind, spirit, soul, all of it? Not just one, not just no more compartmentalizing, no more, well, I'm doing the work here, so I can slack off here. It's the whole self. This is a whole self transformation in order for the whole of humanity to transform. But it only has the capacity to transform as much as we are willing to. And the transformation is limitless. So no biggie, really. When we talk about what we're releasing, we're talking about those aspects of self, those negative thought patterns, those negative beliefs, those limiting self-sabotage aspects of self. It's time to let those go, and this portal will help us. This eclipse portal will help us to let go of those. It will bring them to the forefront and tell us it's time, and we'll know. We'll know exactly what those things are. They may come to you in dreams. With Neptune 29 degrees Pisces, dream world is highly activated right now. So you may hear clear messages in your dreams, follow them through. Or your intuition might be just so off the charts that dreams are not even necessary, but they're quite often going to back up what's coming through to you. And there is not a deadline, although this portal is highly charged and likely to make changes where maybe you're not willing to, or not ready to, or not aware enough to. Those changes can happen for you, but remember that they're happening for you. Everything that ends right now is making room for what is in your better interest, what is in your higher interest. And so try not to hold on. Try to just breathe through this period. And even having said that, it might not be something that you're very consciously aware of. It likely will be lots of things that you're very consciously aware of. But if you pass through this portal and you really don't think like anything has changed, you might notice as you leave this portal how your interactions are different, how your thoughts are different, how your actions are different. There's no right and wrong in this. Like I said, how it shows up in your life will be dependent on where it falls in your chart and what other planets may be in your chart as well, in those sections of your chart. So you can run free charts on astro.com. It's a great site and it's very easy to navigate. So if you don't already know where your information is, go to astro.com, astro.com, and run a natal chart and have a look and see where Pisces and Aries are showing up in your chart, in your birth chart. And if you don't quite understand that, put a message below and let me know which house, and I can give you some insight into what area of your life may be affected by the pretty big energies that are playing out right now. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this video, press like. If you want to see more, press subscribe, and I hope to see you in the future. Thanks for listening. Bye.